Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Rebel Live. I've tried a couple of different things with this, and it's a work in progress. Right now, I'm working on scheduling and what exactly I'm going to talk about on these episodes. And I found that first thing in the morning, what I like to do is talk to things that are more personal, philosophical, and overview of how things work rather than the down and dirty of these are some things that I've looked at that have worked for me and stuff like that. So today what I want to talk about is the inevitable steps that you're going to go through once you decide to become an online marketer. For instance, like the heater just turned on and now it's probably making some noise in the background. But whatever, it's live. What are you going to do about it? Which is cool because I don't like to edit anyway. So what are you going to go through? There's a guy named Jerry Clark, and he doesn't seem to be as prominent now, or maybe I'm just not paying attention. But he did this thing. He made a CD out of it called Murphy's Committee, and it's about a cow that's in a pasture, and he wants to become a rhino. He sees the stuff outside the barbed wire, and all of his friends are telling him, "Don't go, don't go." And finally, he gets up, or she, I guess, gets up the nerve and goes through the barbed wire fence, and it's all about this cow's journey to becoming a rhino. And it's absolutely excellent. It's called Murphy's Committee. The guy's name is Jerry Clark. Look for it, find it, listen to it. And especially if you've got a significant other that doesn't have a clue what you're doing, just let them know, hey, this is what's going to happen. And it's bad enough when one person has to go through it, but when you're going with two, you both got to be totally committed. So anyway, if you want an upgraded or a more modern version of this, there's a movie out. It stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, and it's called Gravity. If you have not seen that movie, watch it, and watch it with the eye of a marketer. And as a matter of fact, after a while, you can't help but do this. You watch the way people interact in movies and on shows and titles and stuff, and you always look at everything with the eye of a marketer, and you can pick up things that most people just won't notice. The influence will be there, but they won't notice what's going on. Anyway, in this movie, Sandra Bullock is some kind of scientist. She's not a NASA scientist, but she has developed something that's going to help NASA gather information about something in the atmosphere. And it starts out, she's up there in space, and she's with George Clooney, and everything is fine, and they're working on it, and all of a sudden everything just goes totally sideways. Meteors start coming through, destroys the stuff that they're hanging on to in the satellite. They got to get back to the shuttle that's racing away from them. And the entire movie is all about Sandra Bullock doing everything she can to get back to Earth. And what drives her is the thought of her daughter. Well, in the movie, see, the things hit, and she's up there, and then she's with George Clooney. He says, okay, we got to try and fly this way. So shove off, and they go flying towards the satellite. So they're drifting in space, tied together, with nothing else. And they have to make it to this thing. So they finally get there, and then some bad stuff happens, and she's alone, and now she's going through all these different stages. She runs out of air. Then she has to go to a Chinese thing. She can't read the language, and she's attempting to get this spacecraft to do what she wants it to do. And then she almost freezes to death because there's no heat. So she finally gets that taken care of, and now she's coming back to the atmosphere, and of course now it tries to burn her to death. And she gets through that and she splashes into the ocean, and you think she's safe, but no. Now she is almost drowned trying to get out of the capsule to get to the water. And once she does that, now she has to make it to shore. And by the end of the movie, she's crawling up this beach in her underwear, totally spent. She's been suffocated, frozen, burnt, drowned. And she kisses the ground, and she gets up and she starts walking. And then that's the end of the movie. Bummer if you haven't seen it, but you got to see it to really experience what I'm talking about. Here's the thing that I want to make very clear. Just imagine all that stuff she goes through, she's finally there, and she looks up and there's this great big sign above her, and she's finally made it. And you know what the sign says? Hey, you may be thinking it says finish line, but it's not. It says start. And that is the most devastating thing to most people, because you look up and after all I've been through, after everything I've done, I've tried, I've lost, it's money, it's time, it's pain and frustration and anger, and I finally made it to the beginning. But that's exactly what it's like. And then all of a sudden you're doing live videos and things start to work, and people ask you, how did you do it? And you're like, well, I could tell you what happened to me, but you really don't want to do it that way. I'd rather tell you this, that these are the things I've learned, and see, that's how you help people. But it's like, stay away from the way that happened. No, you want to do it this way. So anyway, understand that no matter how good you are, no matter what you've done in the past, it's like that song from Alabama, don't matter where you've played before, California's a whole new game. Well, let me tell you something, this marketing online thing is a whole new game. So you're best off looking at it with a new eye and a new attitude and a new mindset, because you will go through those stages and you will hit the point where you're finally just getting started after you've been through all that. So that's when it starts to get better and better. Then you've hit the peak and you begin to go downhill, and it's a much faster, smoother ride. Keep that in mind. Keep going. Don't give up. Persist. You will eventually win. It can be done. There's lots of people doing it, and you can do it too. I'm Rebel from Rocket and Rebel. Find us here on Facebook, right here at Rocket Mobile, or at the Adventures of Rocket and Rebel. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday wherever you are. I'm out.